ॐ योगेन चित्तस्य पदेन वाचा मलं शरीरस्य च वैद्यकेन योपाकरोत्तं प्रवरं मुनीनां पतञ्जलिं प्राञ्जलिरानतोऽस्मि. On Wednesday, due to some technical fault, the internet connection in my computer got cut and I could not speak after 40 minutes. So please don't mind it. Today I have taken special care that it will not get cut. And I go back to some of yesterday's topics. 10th Sutra, I just read 10th and 11th Sutra for a special purpose. 10th was Te Pratiprasava Heya Sukshma and 11th was Dhyana Heya Stadvruttaya. I am not describing them again. But from the beginning, some people were asking me, in Buddhistic canons, there is a Saripattan Sutta. And they asked me if this is similar to that. And I said the two are completely different. Now, this Saripattan Sutra leads to what is famous these days as Vipassana. And so I correct myself and say the sources are completely different, but there is a lot of similarity of approach of the Saripattan Sutra and Patanjali's Yoga Sutras. For this I read the previous sutras because these sutras specially tell us of the nature of meditation we are using, but somebody had felt in the beginning itself that it is similar, and I acknowledge that though the sources are different, the contents are similar. Now let me proceed to 12th. Klesha Mulaha Karmashayo Drishta Drishta Janma Vedaniyaha. Kleshas were now nicely understood. Avidya, Asmita, Raga, Dvesh, Abhinivesh are the kleshas. Now they are the roots of something, roots of karma ashaya. And I explained it, let me repeat. Karma produces two types of results, the outside fruit and the inside sanskara. And the sanskaras do not leave us till we become free. Till we have full knowledge and become free, the sanskaras do not leave us. And the collection, the bundle of these sanskaras is called karma ashaya. Ashaya means the bundle of the sanskaras produced by karma. So karma ashaya. Now, karma ashaya root is kleshas. Because of avidya, asmita, raga, dvesh and abhinivesh, these we are doing karma and we are getting the bundle of impressions. How to know them? Drishta, adrishta, janma, vedaniya. Some of them will fruition immediately. So in this life itself, whatever results we are seeing are the results of those karmashaya, maybe belonging to past life, maybe belong to this life also. But the remaining sanskaras which we are gathering and which are in the previous our store also, the result will be seen in our next life or in future lives. That is drishta, janma vedaniya, to be known in this life, adrishta janma vedaniya, to be known in future lives. Now, in next sutra, 13, here also somebody has put a question and I will clarify myself. Sati mule tadvipako jati ayur bhoga. We are told that this ashaya result will be seen in the next life or in future life. So sati mule means the root being there, this karmasha being the root, that vipako, the result of that will be of three types. Jati, Ayur, Bhoga. The type of birth we will get is called Jati. How much we live is called Ayu. And what Sukha Dukkha we will get is called Bhoga. Here I made a remark that accidental death may be different. So someone immediately asked why. Now let me clarify. I will clarify in a more general way. That means what we call prarabdha karma are there, but they can be changed also. Prarabdha karmas are there, but they can be changed also. And this change can occur by some Brahmajna, by some perfected man's will. That was my hint mainly. For example, we all know, those who do not know, Shankaracharya's prescribed life was 8 years only. But when he took sannyas at 8 years, it became changed. It became 16. And at the age of 16, he knew his time is up. He went to Badrikashram to lay down his life in Samadhi. But there he met with Bhagwan Vyasa, and Vyasa told him that certain works are essential, must be done by you. And I will get your age increased to 32. One example I am giving. I personally know several examples where the prescribed prarabdha was changed by some Mahapurusha's will. I will not giving you the details. Similarly, sometimes somebody is murdered, snake bite, or something happens where the prarabdha karmas were not able to fully express themselves in his life. In this category, I'd put accidental death. No, accidental death may be his prarabdha also, but there are reasons where the sanskaras do not get exhausted and the man dies. When such thing happens, he does not get another body. He becomes what we call bhuta or the ghost. He has to live without the gross body for some time. This is what I was meaning. That there are two things. One is that some will of Mahapurusha may change his lifespan. Secondly, something may happen by which he is forced to die, unnatural death. What I mean accidental was unnatural death. And when such things take place, his all sanskaras are not able to express themselves. He has desires which were to be expressed in this very body. And because it could not be expressed, he has to live without a physical body for some time. This is what I meant. So, this is Jati, Ayu and Bhoga. Now my point was that these three things only are determined by what we call the prarabdha. But we are free in every other respect. We can do good karmas, earn good result. We can earn knowledge and be free. For this we are free. Nobody is obstructing us from this. What pleasure and pain we will meet are prescribed, but we may not take those pleasure and pain if we are free. If you have the full knowledge, we will not feel the pleasure and pain. So, these three things are determined by our past work, but we are free to some extent that we can do what we like as karma. We can try for knowledge and get out of all this. These are the other possibilities. Patanjali has told us only three things are. When he says three things, it also means only three things. Three things are decided by prarabdha. Only three things are decided by prarabdha. So we are free to that extent. That was the main point. Now, in 14 we are told that there of the nature of happiness, the bhogas which we are getting happiness and misery That is due to our old karmashaya, in which there were good works called punya and bad works called papa. He does not call papa here apunya, non-holy, non-good. So lahada means pleasure, paritapa means misery or anxiety, punya means due to good past works, apunya means due to non-good, that is bad, past works, hetutva. This hetu, this reason, due to this reason, we are getting the result of lada and parita. Then Patanjali proceeded to show to us that these pleasures are so temporary, so dirty, so mixed up, that they are actually pain. And there he gave the formula, Parinama Tapa Sanskara Dukkaihi Gunavrutti Virodhacha Dukhameva Sarvam Vivekina. For the man of discrimination, the man of discrimination does not blindly rush himself into pleasures. He discriminates and finds out that at the end of every pleasure we get pain. During pleasure we feel anxious that the pleasure may go away, and it leaves a desire for more and more, which gets obstructed again and we get pain. And apart from these three pains, our vrittis are so much opposing each other. I will give a small example of cricket. I want to hit a ball for 6, but I have to be careful I will not lose my wicket. So I have to be careful. These two vrittis are opposing each other. I want to enjoy or do whatever I like, but the man of discrimination knows that every enjoyment will reduce the strength in my indriyas. So how will he enjoy? He has to control himself. So, due to the trigunas and their combinations being infinite, we have for every vritti towards happiness, other vritti which shows us don't go that way, there is a pain also. Because of this, we are not able to freely enjoy as we like. So, gunatti virod, guna vritti virod. Trigunas, vritti means their functions here, the waves created by them, they are opposing each other, and so we cannot, for us, for the Viveki, every pleasure is a pain. Then 16, Heyam Dukkham Anagatam. Now what we have suffered has gone, but what suffering has to come, Anagatam, which has not yet come, that can be avoided. Anagatam Dukkham Heyam. That means heyam means can be rejected, or we should reject it, the dukkha which has not yet come. Now, what was the cause of that dukkha? Now he has told apunya karma. But now philosophically he is judging what is the cause of that dukkha. Drashtu drishyayo sanyogo heyetu. We are seers. That means consciousness only. Drishya include the objects and our instrumentality also. They are unconscious, they are mechanical. Mind up to buddhi, later on you will explain. Buddhi, which is intelligence, is also material. Mind is material, indriyas are material, body is material, outside objects are material. Now, unless we identify ourselves with those instrumentality, we cannot feel pain. Soul or our real nature, in its real nature, which is pure consciousness, can have no touch with pain. But the pain comes because we identify ourselves, sanyoga. Sanyoga is identification. Drashtu drishyayo, between the seer and the seen. And I told you scene includes the instrumentality also and the objects also. So their combination or their joining, their identification is the hetu of heya. Heya means, go back, the pain which has not yet come, or the pain is heya, to be rejected. The cause of the pain which is to be rejected is our identity with our instrumentality. Now, up to this we had read and the connection got cut, so we come to 18th Sutra now. Prakasha Kriya Sthiti Bhutendriyatmakam Bhoga Apavargartham Drishyam. This is now fully based upon the Sankhya system of thought. Let us go to the last word, Drishyam, the seen objects. That is Prakriti or nature and all its modifications, they come under the category of Drishyam. Now, what is their purpose? Patanjali is asking and answering, what is the purpose of this Prakriti? Now, the nature of the Prakriti, first it tells, Prakasha Kriya Sthiti Sheelam. What is commonly known as Sattva Rajatama, he has expressed in this way. Sattva is all Prakash, light. Kriya is activity or Rajogun. Tamogun is Sthiti or inertia. Sheelam, that means that is their nature. The three gunas have their nature in Prakasha, Kriya and Sthiti. So the names of three gunas, instead of Sattva Rajatama, Patanjali is telling their names as Prakasha, Kriya, Sthiti. Light of knowledge, activity and inertia. Now, what is their form? What is called Drishya? Just now I told both the objects and the instruments. That Patanjali tells here. Bhuta Indriyatmakam. Bhuta means matter. Indriyatmakam means our organs. So this is what this scene consists of. Our organs are as much seen as much as the objects. Now these are the Drishya. Now the purpose. Now the purpose according to Sankhya system of thought. Bhoga Apavargartham. Let us take the famous example given by the Sankhya of the dancing girl. A girl is dancing, not for her own joy, but for you and me to see. So it is giving us experience. About this experience, I told you in the very beginning lectures, let us me define experience again. I may repeat one example which I gave that time. We do something and we understand it is wrong. And we come out of that mistake. This is called experience. Repeating a mistake which we did at the age of 15, 16, till we die at advanced age, this is not called experience. Sometimes old people tell us, we have experience. Do they have? They are repeating the same thing again and again. Do they have? Simply years do not give experience. I give two examples now, positive, negative. And I acknowledge that the one example which I am taking is from Vinoba Bhave's book. A man has a grinding wheel in his house, which turns out oil. From sesame or gingerly, you know, a bull, his eyes are closed. And in front of his nose, or just little he can see from his eyes, some streaks of grass are tried. He wants to catch them. Result is that he moves round and round and round, and the oil gets ground. That is the system. No, something wrong happened in the machine. It stopped. The man called an engineer, an expert. He looked at it for 5 minutes and found out the mistake and corrected it. If the bull tells him, "What do you know, Mr. Engineer, in 5 minutes? I have been grinding it for 30 years. I have my experience." Does it mean anything? So mechanically doing something is not called experience. I gave the other example also in the beginning. A small boy or girl has gone to purchase vegetables, and seeing the young person, the vendor has cheated him. He has charged more than what it should charge. Now when he comes back and people know, they are scolding him that you have lost, say, this much amount of money. Now his father was a very wise man. And he used to say, no, no, don't say it is lost. You say he has spent it in experience account. That means tomorrow he will not repeat that mistake. Today he has been cheated. So he has spent that money in experience account. Understand now experience? We make a mistake, we understand, we come out of it. Now, we are seeing this dancing girl. We are enjoying. Now, the discrimination tells us that this enjoyment is mixed with pain. And when we are able to realize this mistake, we don't look at that dancing girl, we look at the other side. This is example given by Sankhya themselves. So, Prakriti being inert, it is always for the Purusha. That is the Sankhya philosophy. Why it works for the Purusha? First, it gives him various experiences of pleasure and pain. And when the man has become wise, Prakriti releases him from the bondage. Apavarga in Sankhya philosophy is the name for moksha, for freedom. So first giving not enjoyments only, experience, good and bad. First giving experience of good and bad, and then when his discrimination is aroused, when he can know things, then the Prakriti has no more function for him. Prakriti does not act for him, and so he becomes free. So this is how Patanjali also thinks along with Sankhya, that I am repeating this because Vedanta has a different idea. I am not telling it now. In Vedanta, Prakriti is not separate. Prakriti is the Maya Shakti of Ishvara himself. Anyway, let that go, because now we are studying Patanjali Sutras, and the Patanjali and Sankhyas feel that the Prakriti has done enough. Not that in old age it has done enough. No, 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 no. Life after life it has not done enough. Unless the man pursues Patanjali Yoga or some method by which he gets knowledge that it is the joining of seer and seen which is producing all dukkhas. And he separates himself from Prakriti. He does not get attached to Prakriti. He does not identify with Prakriti. Then the Prakriti work is stopped. Then we say the man has real experience. So this is what is told in this 18th Sutras. I read again. Prakasha Kriya Sthiti Sheelam Bhuta Indriyatmakam Bhoga Apavargartham Drishyam. Drishyam, the scene, which includes Bhuta Indriyatmakam. Atmakam means consist of matter or objects and the instrumentality of man also, and is of the nature of Sattva Rajatama, which results into Prakasha, activity and inertia. This is what our life is going on. And this dancing of these three gunas is giving us various experiences. And finally, we come out of it, we do not attach or identify ourselves with Prakriti. We feel we are separate, we are pure consciousness. That is called Apavarga or release. This was our first sutra today, 18th sutra. Now, 19. Vishesha, Avishesha, Lingamatra, Alingani, Gunaparvani. Literally, let me translate. Guna means these three gunas. Now, mind you, they are not qualities, huh? They are the constituents of Prakriti. Guna also means a thread. So, suppose we take three threads and just roll them into a rope and it binds us. So, these three are constituents of Prakriti. Prakasha, when we get worldly or internal knowledge, we feel happy, it binds us. Activity, it binds us. Inertia, it binds us. Three together always bind us. So, Guna Parvani. Parva means the form in which they exist. The status or the form in which the gunas exist. Parva, you know, are say stages, steps. They are called Parva. So, one portion is like this, one portion is like this, one portion is like this. And in this way, the gunas act. Now, what are the different states? Vishesha, Avishesha. Vishesha means specified. Specified, or we can see them, that is Vishesha. Avishesha means we cannot see their separateness. We cannot see them. Yogis can see. I have always told you, in the first chapter I learned the penetrative meditation. So when we achieve a penetrative concentration, we are able to perceive the subtle matter also. That is the speciality of yoga. So then we perceive something which we are not perceiving today. That is called Avishesha. The Pancha Tanmatras, mind, Indriyas, all this is called Avishesha. Then Lingamatra. Only sign is left. Only sign we understand. I will explain to it, but literally it means buddhi or our so-called intelligence. We have to separate intelligence from consciousness, mind you. This consciousness is unknown to the modern science. Intelligence is our buddhi, which is an evolute of Prakriti. Those who have Swami Vivekananda's book, he has explained extremely well here. In this particular sutra, I will tell you where one or two words we may differ, but otherwise, here we will get the excellent explanation. So, Lingamatra is buddhi, intelligence. Next, Alingani. No sign means Prakriti. Prakriti, the indiscrete nature as I call it, the primordial nature as we call it, where Sattva Rajatama are balanced, normally we cannot see that. Normally we cannot see that, so that is called Alinga. Now to understand this, we have to understand the Sankhya philosophy entire, the Sankhya cosmology entire. And it will start from the other end. Now let me explain Sankhya philosophy. Two categories the Sankhya's accept. Categories, not numbers. Huh? One category is consciousness. And the Sankhya's say there are innumerable units of consciousness. Purushas, I, you, everybody. And in this series we found a special Purusha is called Ishvara. So, this is one category, consciousness. The other category is matter or Prakriti. Now this Prakriti, how it works? In the presence of the Purusha, Prakriti starts functioning. Prakriti is inert, mechanical. But only in the presence of the consciousness it works. Now it evolves. The first product which it sends out, Prakriti cannot be seen, Alinga. But it evolves, it sends a product. And that product is called by the Sankhya's and Yogis as Mahat, the universal intelligence. Prakriti is universal, you mind. Jivas are infinite by Sankhya. Prakriti is one, infinite, universal. The first product is Mahat, or the universal intelligence. We are all parts of that universal intelligence. Our buddhi is a part of universal Mahat. I am explaining to you Sankhya philosophy. So the Prakriti evolves into Mahat. Mahat has parts which are called the intelligences of different individuals, and what they are made of, Sankhya has not told us. Yoga has not told us. It tells us that is the first evolute of Prakriti. Now, from that, next evolute comes. And that next evolute is called Pancha Tanmatras. Let me explain. The analysis is much deeper than that of modern science. In the modern science, in the nuclear physics, they are imagining some photon, some God particle, nonsensical name they have given. Now, that means, now I'll explain in the Indian way, how do we know the world is our question. We do not know anything which is not revealed to us by the five indriyas. We have five organs of perception only. Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha. The sound, the touch, the form, the taste and smell. Tell me, can we experience the world in any other way? Normally, when we penetrate, we see so many things. But our normal experience consists of these five gunas, the five rupas. Now the question is, unless there is something in matter which gives rise to form, this is what is they are trying to call photon. We could not have seen. So that element, which is the cause of our seeing, is one element. That element, which is the cause of my hearing, is another element. That element, which is the cause of my touch perception. What is touch perception? Heat or cold, soft or hard, these are my touch perceptions. They are caused by something in the thing, in the matter, which is causing these perceptions. And then something which generates taste. When it touches my tongue, it generates, normally as we analyze five tastes, combination of tastes are infinite. But there are five tastes only fundamentally. Those who want to write down, please write down. Sweet, sour, salty, bitter, and the last one has the name Kashaya. That is, what in English? I will say alum-like taste. Sometimes in fruits, along with the sourness, there is some stingy taste. So these five are the tastes. Eyes, what they can see? Eyes can see colors. Eyes can see length, breadth and thickness. Eyes cannot see anything else. Touch, I already told you, soft and hard, hot and cold, smooth and rough. These are the different touches. Taste, I already told you. Smell. Smell, it is very difficult to define, but people have defined. We say smell of jasmine, smell of rose, smell of this. They are different smells. Now something is there which is causes smell. So, but we do not see. And that is why these five are called subtle elements. Subtle elements, which if they combine, become gross, then we can see, taste, feel. So from the Mahat or intelligence come out five subtle elements. We call them Pancha Tanmatra. Tanmatra means that much. Five subtle elements come out. Now, the five subtle elements make our Indriyas. Five subtle elements separately make our Indriyas, senses of perception. This is a much deeper analysis. Based what science does, let me compare here. Science takes the world to be an object and starts analyzing it. Sankhya or Indian philosophy tells us, you are a combined thing. You are seeing, identifying. If you see object, you can perceive only five things. So, these five things come out of intelligence, universal Mahat. It comes out five subtle elements. Now, our five organs of perceptions are made of this, and how outside objects are made, we will tell later. And the five elements together, mixture, not compounded, mixture, all five together is our mind. And that is why it is the work of the mind to coordinate. Now I see that I see a wall, I see you. I don't see you. My eyes can show me only color and figure. How do I know it is you? How do I know it is a wall? My mind has all the memories stored. It compares with the previous memories, associates, coordinates. We see and touch at the same time. Mind coordinates. So mind is made of all five subtle elements together. It coordinates all our sensual experiences. So it is essentially made of the five subtle elements together. Then perception is not yet complete. Mind presents it to the buddhi, to the intelligence. When the mind presents it to the intelligence reacts. And we perceive only this reaction of the intelligence. That is all our knowledge. We do not know anything about the outside world. Outside world produces, Patanjali has explained, Shabda, Artha and Jnana. Outside objects have sent some stimuli, that is Shabda. Inside our nerves of sensory perception, something has gone. The mind has coordinated that and presented to intelligence. Intelligence has reacted, so we know only that reaction. Now, one thing more, these subtle elements, if they combine, I will explain to you. Those who students of chemistry will understand immediately. There is a mixture and there is a compound. Suppose, for example, which everybody knows, suppose hydrogen and oxygen are together, nothing will happen. There will be two gases. But when we pass an electric current, then the one atom combines with the other atom. Then we get water. So compounding, it is called compounding. The five elements compounded makes gross matter. Prakriti, original, indiscrete, throws out first evolute called Mahat, universal intelligence, of which our intelligences are parts. That throws out Pancha Tanmatras, the subtler elements which make our five sensory organs, our five karma indriyas, our pancha pranas, all these are made by these subtle elements, and in a mixed form, our mind is made of that. Now, these 5 elements combine and make the matter which we know. So, this is the world. This is Sankhya philosophy. Now, let us go it from the other side. The gross world is what we are able to perceive. So, this he calls as Vishesha. I am explaining Sutra 19. First, I told you the evolution from Prakriti side. Now, we look at it from here. We are aware only of the gross objects. Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha in gross form. So that is called Vishesha, having distinctive marks. That is Vishesha. But if we gain penetrative vision, we will see the subtle elements also. I am using the word see. See, hear, feel, touch, taste, the subtler elements also. That is called Avishesha. When I penetrate further, I will see the intelligences. Mind is along with that subtle matter. Mind comes along with the Avishesha. But the Buddhi or the Mahat, this is Linga Matra. Only a sign is there of its existence. That is called Linga Matra. Linga means sign, Matra means only sign. Through my penetrative vision, I can experience my Buddhi also. And the concentration has become still more penetrative. Then I can see the indiscrete matter called Prakriti, which is called Alinga. It has no sign outside because it is a balanced state of the three gunas, but through penetrative perception, I can see that also. So the gunas exist in these four forms. Vishesha, Avishesha, Linga Matra, Alingani, Guna Parvani. The states of the existence of the gunas. I hope you understood, all of you. Then the next. Drashta Drishimatra Shuddhopi Pratyaya Anupashya. No, this is all about the Prakriti. But the other element is Drashta, the seer. Drishimatra, it is only consciousness. Drishi means the power to see. And see is used in a general sense. See means see, hear, touch, etc. See means know directly. Knowing directly, generally we attribute it to say I see directly. So, see is used for all our experiences, all our perceptions. No, drishta is only the power of seeing. It is only pure consciousness. Now, how the pure consciousness knows pleasure and pain, good and bad, colors, different taste. Shuddho api, though it is pure consciousness only, yet, api means yet, pratyaya anupashya. Pratyaya means our experience. Which is giving experience? Buddhi. Now, Buddhi reacts on the coordinated data produced by the mind. And Buddhi says this is dukkha, this is sukha. Buddhi says this is red color, this is blue color. Buddhi tells us this is a man, this is a woman. Buddhi tells us every difference between the objects. Atman, though pure consciousness, perceives through the instrumentality of the Buddhis, but becomes identified. And we say, I see. So, here I will add a little of Vedanta. This Buddhi, the Vedanta calls it Nishyatmaka Vrutti, is always associated with I. This I is not my real nature. But when I am sure I am seeing a wall, I am seeing the wall. I am playing, I am eating, I know you. So I becomes associated along with the Nishya produced by Buddhi. So this Buddhi element has our ordinary I. This is not our real nature. What is our real nature? Shuddha consciousness. Pure consciousness is our real nature. There is no I there. And if we can realize our pure consciousness, which today is through identification with buddhi, in which this I is produced, is perceiving the external nature. Perceiving sukha dukkha's and everything through identification with this buddhi. This is the Sutra 20, Drishta Drishimatraha. The seer is only seeing. The seer is only the power of perception. The seer is only consciousness. Shuddho api, pure consciousness. Even then, api, pratyaya. Pratyaya means the feelings of perception. Our actual perceptions. Anupashya. Behind that, it also sees. Anu means after or behind. Buddhi reacts. Behind that, Atman says, I know. Buddhi recognizes. Behind that, Atman says, I know. Buddhi goes on reacting. I is born there, and Atman or Purusha, according to Sankhya, through identification with the Buddhi, perceives this world. This is the 28th Sutra. Because we are told that Purusha is pure consciousness, everything else is the modification or evolutes of Prakriti, then how Purusha sees something, how Purusha hears something, pure consciousness? It hears because it follows the perceptions of Buddhi. And in this Buddhi, let me put a little Vedanta, this I comes up. Now, 21. Tadartha eva drishyasya atma. Atma here is not real nature. Atma means substance. Drishyasya atma. Drishya means the seen. What is the substance of the drishya? Drishyasya atma means the substance of the drishya. What is the substance of the drishya? For what? Tadartha eva. Tadartha means it is for Purusha only. It is for Purusha. We are told that Prakriti gives experience to Purusha. That is being explained in detail now. Purusha is only pure consciousness. It becomes attached to its Buddhi. Buddhi is another evolute of Prakriti. And so through Buddhi, Purusha sees everything. Now that seen, the substance of the seen is for the sake of the perception by Purusha. It has no independent purpose. What Prakriti will do with itself. This is what Sankhya or Patanjali Yoga tells us, that Drishyasya Atma Tadartha Eva. The substance of the Drishya is for him only. Tadartha Eva is for him only. Now, 22. Kritartham prati nashtam api anashtam tad anya sadharanatva. Here he has used the word nashta. But according to him, Prakriti is real, Prakriti is eternal, it can never be destroyed. So you have to understand the word nashta here. Kritartham prati. What is kritartha? Kritam artham yena sa kritartha. One who has fulfilled the purpose of life. One who has fulfilled the purpose of life is called kritartha. What is the purpose of life? To remain free, to remain independent. That is the krita, that is our whole life's purpose, is to gain, as I told you in the beginning, to gain perfection, to gain purnatva. But modified according to Sankhya, to remain as pure consciousness, free from the bondages of Prakriti. This is the life purpose. Suppose I have attained that, then what will happen to Prakriti? Patanjali says nashtam, but I know It is not Nashtam. But I do not look at it. I do not get identified with it. So in a way it is Nashta for me. Nashtam is destroyed. It is destroyed for me, or it does not exist for me because I do not want anything from it. But Prakriti does not get destroyed. What it is doing? It is working for others. So this is the Sankhya or Yoga description of Prakriti, not Vedantic at all. That Prakriti goes on making evolutes, giving experience to others till they become free. So until a man becomes free, Prakriti works for him, we are told, for Bhoga or then for Apavarga. So those who have got Apavarga are the Krutarthas. Prakriti is no more functioning for them. If the, again the example, if the dancing girl is not being seen by the seer, what shall she do? But it goes on dancing for other observers. So, why the Prakriti is going on functioning? That is explained here, that Krutartham Prati Nashtamapi, Nashtam is a wrong word here. Krutartham Prati Nashtamapi, Anashtam Tad means Prakriti is not destroyed, Anya Sadharanatvat. Anya means others, Sadharan means general, because it is common or general for all, so it is not destroyed. Though it is apparently relatively destroyed for the one who has made the purpose of life, for others it is not destroyed. Now, one more sutra I will read. 23. Swami Shaktyoho Swarupa Upalabdhi Hetu Sanyoga. Sanyoga means the seer's identification with instrumentality, that is the Sanyog. And through the instrumentality, it is identified with the objects also. So Sanyog means junction. Sanyog means union. Sanyog here means identification, because it is not true, because it is not real. We can disjoin it. But today in our life, Sanyoga, what it does, Swami Shaktyo, Swa means, it is talking about Prakriti. Swa means Prakriti. Swami, the master of Prakriti, is the pure consciousness, the Purusha. Shaktyoho, the power of Prakriti and the power of the master. Shaktyoho is again dual, Dvivachan in Sanskrit. Means the powers of these two, its own powers and the powers of its Swami or the master, Swarupa Upalabdhi Hetu. Swarupa Upalabdhi. Upalabdhi means experience. Swarupa means not real nature in Sankhya. Swarupa means its form. Now Prakriti has several forms. Shabda Rupa Rasa Gandha, that we experience due to junction. We experience the powers of Prakriti, means the evolutes of Prakriti, means the experience of Prakriti due to this junction or identification of Purusha with Prakriti. But we experience simultaneously, what is the quality of the Purusha? Freedom. Quality of the Purusha? Consciousness. Now this joining makes us aware, oh, we are really free. We are really consciousness only. So to know this also we require this union. And that is how Prakriti releases the man. So identification with Prakriti simultaneously is giving the experience of the evolutes of Prakriti, and also inside that, always running through, we are not aware of that very clearly. But inside all our experiences, there is an experience. Swami Vivekananda has explained this very beautifully. You can read his commentary on this 23. That continuously, even in the previous he had explained, Continuously something tells me you are free. Otherwise would not have existed at all. Something tells me you are consciousness. But something tells me you are bound. Something tells me you are mixed up. So this, through the mixture, the feeling of consciousness, the feeling of our innate freedom always shines. And this comes when we are identified with the Prakriti, we become aware that though we are bound, we are free also. This is the Sutra 23 and 29 I will take up in the next class. What makes this union? It says Tasya Hetur Avidya. Anyway, I have read it now. So, Avidya was told as the Kshetram Uttaresham. Now, Avidya is told in a different way again that Tasya Hetu. Hetu of this feeling of bondage and innate freedom, the reason is Avidya. Our Anitya Asukha Anatmasu Nitya Sukha Atma Khyati. So this is again Ashuchi also. So is felt as Shuchi. This avidya is the cause of all these perceptions, and the final release will come when we know our real nature. So in this way, the Prakriti is acting. We shall take it up again in the next class, starting from here. Om Yogena Chittasya Padena Vacha Malam Sharirasya Cha Vaidyakena Yopakarottam Pravaram Muninam Patanjalim Pranjaliranatosmi. Now one day in chat I gave my answers, but I could not post it here. Today they have all been pasted by one of my friends. So all the answers which I gave for the questions of a particular, on the 13th, I gave these answers. For the questions raised on the 10th, I gave my answers on 13th, but I could not paste it. Today they have been pasted by one of my friends. So those who are seeing chat, they can find their own answers. Let me repeat here, my email address was given. If you reveal your email address to me, then I can send individual replies to you also, so that others need not be troubled by that. If you reveal your email ID to me, I can give my individual replies to that also. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Tat Sat. Shri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu.